Okay, adjusting the striker plate on a BMW 2002 in a handful of steps. First thing you want to do, take out two of the screws. You only need the post screw and one opposite diagonal to make this work. The other two get in your way and you can add them in later. By the way, I am leaning, this is the driver's side, I'm leaning over the driver's side door. Got the window open, enables my right hand to hold onto the striker plate and my left hand to hold on to the screwdriver. So step one is loosen the striker plate, allowing it to move freely. Next is to lift all the way up and pull it to the outside of the car, effectively a diagonal upward and to the right. Once that's done, holding onto the striker plate in that position, rotate the striker plate back counterclockwise a few degrees, just a bit. That enables the top part of the striker plate to clear the buffer that's on the door. Tighten it up. Tighten the this diagonal one up upper left first, because it moves really easy when you tighten these screws, and you don't want it to move. It's not critical at this point, but you don't want to do it if you don't have to. So how tight? This takes a bit of time to learn it. What you do is you want to make it tight enough so that the post, let me tighten up that a little bit, the post is tight enough to allow the door actuator to work, where the corn kernel is. When it pushes on, you want the door to be able to close and latch, but you don't want it so tight that you can't move the striker plate. So it's snug, it's not tight. But when I'm trying to move it with my right hand, I can't. So it's pretty pretty firm there. If you can move it, it's probably too loose, and if it's too loose, the striker plate moves when you close the door, and you don't want to do that because you want to hold it in place. So it's firm, tight, pivoted. Let's try closing the door. We're going to do this slowly, carefully. The first thing that should touch is the corn kernel on the post, not the buffer on the top to the striker plate. So I'm going to move it, close it slowly. Slowly. First click. That's the first click. We're not latched yet. And then I'm going to push on it and close it slowly again to the second click. Let's see. There it is. So the door is now latched, and the striker has shifted appropriately to accommodate the forces that are happening from the door and the buffer and the corn kernel and the striker plate itself, the diagonal elements on the striker plate and the post. So it's effectively locked. Now, what you want to do though is make sure that it is either, it's aligned, the outside is flush. You don't want the door too far in, you don't want the door too far out, sticking proud. So depending on what you have right now, could be lucky, but most likely it's one or the other, and you're going to move the door slightly, and you're going to be careful doing this. Now, if you have the door handle on, I don't, you can tap on the door handle with your hand, your palm. You can hold the top of the door and just kind of try to shift it. This door is fairly strong. You don't take a hammer to it or anything this, but you just want to move the door in or out somehow. And that's where that fine line of how tight the striker plate is really helps, because it should allow you to move it with some light taps or pushes. But yet you're not damaging the car in any way. Now, this car door there's no door panels. All the pieces are loose inside, so it makes a lot of noise when I tap on it, but it's pretty, I'm not tapping very hard at all. I'm just lightly pushing and pulling. In this case, the door is a little bit proud, so I'm gonna push on it first. I'm using my thumbs on the top of the door and just kind of pushing it slightly in. It doesn't need much. And I'm taking a straight edge to see. Yep, that's good. The door again is still snug. So all I have to do now is tighten it up where it is. So I'm going to carefully open the door, latch first, not pulling on it at all. Latch first, and then letting it out. And the striker plate hasn't moved. So the next step, now you want to be careful with tightening these screws, because even a little bit of motion can result or will result in a striker plate that's not aligned. So I recommend the top one first, little bit, just a little bit. Go to the post, again a little bit, and just go back and forth a few times. We're talking a degree to snug it up because you don't want it to move. Then it starts getting pretty tight and you don't have to worry about it as much. So now I'm putting a little bit of force on it. So striker plate should be aligned with how you just left it if nothing else moved. Let's try. Yeah, there it is. And if you find that it shifted somehow, then just do the same process again. Okay, well that's it. How to adjust the striker plate on a BMW 2002. I hope this helps.